For me, Clannad After Story is a series that I will always hold dear to my heart. It's a show that has literally changed my life for the better, and if I hadn't watched it during the formative teenage years of my life, I would not be the person that I am today. It's no surprise that I haven't made many videos about it on my own channel, as I'm scared that I won't give it the justice that it deserves. However, the reason why I'm writing about it today is because fellow AniTuber Kaze asked me if I wanted to collab with him on a video about Clannad, and there's just no way that I could ever turn that down. He's an underrated video essayist that makes quality content way above the number of views it deserves, and Kyoto Animation is a studio that we both love. I remember first watching Clannad's OVA on the Kyou Chapter many years ago, and my initial thoughts after I watched it was that it was a pretty decent self-contained episode, but was too rushed at points to feel personally invested and a bit melodramatic with its love triangle between the two sisters. I've held that opinion for the longest time, however, rewatching it recently for this video, there's a lot of interesting character motivations and profound themes that the episode presents. Ryo wasn't always the timid and quiet girl that my mind had always pictured. Throughout the series itself, Ryo to me didn't feel like a strong and established supporting character. She was always in the background, and in my mind, she felt like a much worse version of Nagisa. However, this episode surprised me as her character was explored more. She was selfish and forthcoming about her desires, which added an extra dimension to her character. Kyo in Clannad to me has always fit a certain character archetype, being the tomboyish tsundere. She's a confident and outspoken person who's not afraid to say what's on her mind. However, I felt that her character lacked subtlety and sensitivity when compared to the rest of the cast, which is why I grew to appreciate her even more in this OVA, as it gives her those subtle and emotional moments for us to truly empathize with her. While this singular episode details the love triangle that happens between Tomoya and the two sisters, the profound message at the end about being true to your emotions is the underlying ethos that Clannad runs on. The series has always advocated for people to communicate their true emotions for one another, as that's how you begin to truly live life in this world. Putting up a facade around yourself and building emotional walls to keep people out will only lead you to become more disconnected and alone than ever before. Clannad thrives and is at its best when it lets people express the emotions that need letting out. It's cathartic, and if you can empathize with its characters, that's how it can change your life. The episode begins with Ryo confessing her love to Tomoya, which he accepts, but the scene is also paralleled with Kyo sitting alone looking out the window on a rainy day, telling us everything we need to know. Kyo has unrequited feelings for Tomoya, but can't ever say them because she wants her sister to be happy. The brilliant directing conveys the heavy emotion that Kyo is feeling. She's depressed, lonely, and feels as if something is eating away at her from the inside. The weather is also important to note in this episode, as it mirrors and conveys Kyo's emotional state throughout the episode. As Tomoya and Ryo's relationship moves forward, you can feel that his heart is not completely in it. It's not like he doesn't care about her, but Tomoya didn't really see her as a potential partner, and this is even more evident as he spends more time with Kyo. On the park bench, as the two talk about her little sister, the directing and lighting tells us the exact subtext of what's going on in this scene. As Kyo and Tomoya converse with one another, they have great chemistry as they are able to banter off each other naturally. The sun is warm and shining down on them, but as they keep talking, Kyo brings up kissing as he hasn't done it yet with Ryo. Suddenly the weather turns cloudy, and this tells us that Kyo deep down wants to be with him but is unable to. She has to repress those emotions and can only live out her feelings under the guise of practice. Later, as the episode continues, a rumor starts to spread around the school about Tomoya and Kyo dating each other. This would not only cause her little sister to feel betrayed, but also Kyo to feel immense pain as she knows that she can't be with him. It would hurt her sister too much if that were to happen. And so she tries to dispel the rumor by going out with Tsunohara. Kyo simply tries to brush it off as just her wanting a boyfriend of her own, but I think that's a flat out lie. The way I see it is that she wants to try and forget the unrequited emotions she has for Tomoya by distracting herself. But emotions aren't that simple. You can't just let your heart forget about someone so easily, no matter how hard you try. Kyo in this episode is a much more nuanced character character, as the reason why she didn't ask Tomoya out in the first place is because she was scared that she was going to get rejected and that it would ruin their friendship. But even if she wanted to go out with him now, she can't because it would hurt her sister. Kyo is filled with immense regret, and it's something she can't ever get rid of. The scene with her and Tomoya in the heavy rain just accentuates that fact even more, that it's a love she can never have because she was too late. Clannad is a truly special show that it's able to convey the unspoken emotions of its characters with such subtlety and immense poignancy. There are very few shows, let alone pieces of media, that are able to elicit an emotional reaction from myself, but Clannad is one of those exceptions. This singular OVA showcases the nuanced emotions from a character we don't normally get to see. Kyo believes that she's protecting her sister and her friendship with Tomoya by holding in her emotions. She thinks that this is the best course of action because it would let her sister to be happy and preserve her friendship. Yet why then does she feel so much regret? Clannad's themes and messages are about living life to the fullest without having past regrets. Holding your emotions in and never speaking them out will only slowly eat away at you, which is why in order to live life, it's impossible not to hurt someone. Life is about the pain and struggles you'll have to go through, but it's also how you'll get to reach true happiness. Kyo, at the end of the episode, being true to herself, is the happiest she has ever been, the colorful visuals only further complementing that fact.
The thing that struck me the most with this episode was something that ended up being very close to my personal experience. The feeling it is to be with someone who you truly care about, who you wish was the person you could spend the rest of your life with. But in reality, there is another who you feel more attached to, who you feel would be a better fit for you. Even though Sunohara says that Tomoya is lucky that anyone would give to be in a situation like that, the truth is, it really sucks. Because with every waking moment, with every breath you take, with every word you make, your emotions say something different. And the longer you take, the more devastating it will be. Of course, in a show like this, the difference is pretty clear. It's clear from our point of view that Tomoya and Kyo should end up together, but in real life, to be in their shoes is not clear at all. What if you ended up making the biggest mistake of your life? What if in actuality you only felt that way because you're not with the other person? And do we really have the choice? Isn't it selfish of us to think that way? That we could in any way decide who to be with? This isn't a game. This isn't you pretending to be someone where you can easily choose your partner, as if you were given different paths and could foresee the future, as if the only person who really has a choice is us. But that's exactly what Clannad is, right? Clannad is a game, or should I say a visual novel. It's a story where you choose who to be with, and we don't just see one path, we see multiple paths. We see who we can end up with no consequences of our decisions. Right? That a studio can give us an adaptation that shows us numerous outcomes to seemingly satisfy every fan, as if we were the ones playing the original visual novel. Clannad isn't real, it's just a game. But that's also not true, because by choosing the path you go through, you are hurting others in the process. You become so invested that you forget that you can go back and do it all over again, that you forget that this isn't real life. And the reason you do so is precisely because it feels so real to you and to me, that we are indeed making a choice that can hurt so many, and we don't know if we made the right one. We can never know until we make it. Only then can we realize if our life made more sense with the only choice we can make, to seek a different path, one that doesn't deal with so much pain, one that doesn't make you feel guilty every day, one that respects everyone around, every party involved, and also yourself. The longer you wait, the more hurt you bring to everyone else. So you have to do what's best for you and for others. You have to be true to your feelings. You have to make a decision, and you make it. You might come out even worse, having felt like the one you were with was indeed the person meant for you. Having felt like you never truly appreciated what you had. Having felt like you made the biggest mistake of your life. Or you might have made the right choice for you and for them. That they were not for you and you weren't for them. So you can seek out the person who fits you better. That's what Tomoya has to deal with. That's the decision he makes. And it ended up being the right one. He was now able to be with the person who he truly loved the most in this another world. And the loud girl who had never been able to truly voice herself was finally able to do so. The rainy mood of the entire episode that surrounded these characters, that surrounded Kyo, was finally lifted. They could now walk under a brightly lit sky. One that was colorful. One where they felt like they belonged. One where they were able to be together. A scene that has been burnt into my mind. Because no matter how imperfect something is, what truly matters is its lasting effect on someone, whether it's through a whole series or an entire episode. Now, despite it not being as good or as impactful as others, it manages to still convey so many incredible things. Ones that we can relate with, and moments that we will never forget. Thus making something imperfect near perfect. I always tell myself I will never go back to Clannad. I had even thought of this being the last time I ever talk about this show, this story, these characters. Because whilst I love Clannad and its after story, whilst I love Kyoto animation, whilst I love slice of life, there is so much more anime I want to talk about. Whether it's new or old, popular or niche, classic or modern, there is an enormous world I want to explore. But who am I kidding? I can never make that promise, because every time I go back to Clannad, I'm constantly reminded of how amazing and unique the world of anime truly is. Hello everyone, as you all know, I'm not Kevin, but I had an absolute amazing time being able to collab with him on this and talk about one of my favorite shows of all time. If you want to see the rest of our analysis, you can go to my channel at Kaze Talks, where we continue to break down this amazing episode. And if you enjoyed my weird voice and thoughts, be sure to subscribe to my channel for more video essays on anime. But if this is your first time coming to Kevin's channel and want to see more content like this, tell him in the comments down below and be sure to subscribe. And while you're here, why not check out some of his other videos where he breaks down other great KyoAni content like A Silent Voice or the Violet Evergarden series. It's been Kaze on Kevin's channel, and he'll see you all next time.